Yo, um, if you guys could not tell already, but production value has gone up. Got some mics now. Not really mine, but um, I'm gonna use them for today. Why not? If I have them, let's put them to good use. I had a rather, good productive day today. A little late right now, so might make this video a little shorter just so I can get some sleep and wake up early in the morning. But nonetheless, without further ado, let's get started. Valuating the differences. Valuing the differences in the essence of synergy, the mental, the emotional, the psychological differences between people. And the key to valuing those differences is to realize that all people see the world not as it is, but as they are. As I think I see the world as it is, why would I want to value the differences? Why would I even want to bother with someone who's off track? My paradigm is that I am objective. I see the world as it is. Everyone else is buried by the minutiae. But I see the larger picture. That's why they call me a supervisor. I have supervision. If that's my paradigm, then I will never be effectively interdependent and even effectively independent. For that matter, I will be limited by the paradigms of my own conditioning. The person who is truly effective has the humility and reverence to recognize his own perceptual limitations and to appreciate the rich resources available through interaction with the hearts and minds of other people, of human beings. That person values the differences between those differences add to his knowledge, to his understanding of reality. When we're left to our own experiences, we constantly suffer from a shortage of data. It is logical that two people can disagree and that both can be right. It's not logical, it's psychological, and it's very real. You see the young lady, I see the old woman. We're both looking at the same picture and both of us are right. We see the same black lines, the same white spaces, but we interpret them differently because we've been conditioned to interpret them differently. Unless we value the differences in our perceptions, unless we value each other and give credence to the possibility that we're both right, that life is not always a dicho montus either or, that there are other almost always third alternatives, we will never be able to transcend the limits of that conditioning. All I may say, all I may see the old woman, but I realize that you see something else, and I value your perception. I want to understand. So when I become aware of the difference in our perceptions, I say, good, you see it differently. Help me see what you see. If two people have the same opinion, one is unnecessary. It's not going to do me any good to communicate with someone else who sees only the old woman also. I don't want to talk to communicate with someone who agrees with me. I want to communicate with you because you see it differently. I value that difference. By doing that, I not only increase my own awareness, I also affirm you. I give you psychological air. I take my foot off the brake and release the negative energy you may have invested in defending a particular position. I create an environment for synergy. The importance of valuing the difference is captured in an off-quote fable called The Animal School, written by educator Dr. R.H. Reeves. Once upon a time, the animals decided they must do something heroic to meet the problems of a new world, so they organized a school. They adopted an activity curriculum consisting of running, climbing, swimming, and flying. To make it easier to administer, all animals took all the subjects. The duck was excellent in swimming, better in fact than his instructor, and made excellent grades in flying, but he was very poor in running. Since he was low in running, he had to stay after school and also drop swimming to practice running. This was kept up until his web feet were badly worn and he was only average in swimming, but average was acceptable in school, so nobody worried about that except the duck. The rabbit started at the top of the class in running, but had a nervous breakdown because of so many makeup in swimming. The squirrel was excellent in climbing until he developed frustrations in the flying class, where his teacher made him start from the ground up instead of from the treetop down. He also developed Charlie horses from overexertion, and he got a C in climbing and a D in running. The eagle was a problem child and had to be disciplined severely. In climbing class, he would beat all the others to the top of the tree, but insisted on using his own way of getting there. At the end of the year, an abnormal eel that could swim excellently well and also could run, climb, and fly. A little bat had the highest average and was val, uh, valedictorian. 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 The Prill dogs stayed out of school and fought the tax levy because the administration would not add digging and barring to the curriculum. They appreciated their chili to the badger and later joined the groundhog and gophers to start a successful private school. Force field. I'm gonna actually take a pause there. I'm like I said, I'm gonna cut it short today, but I'd figured I'd catch up on some sleep tonight. So, um, one thing to take note of this, I really like the duck or animal example. That so many of us have different traits and so many of us have different strengths and weaknesses. But I would assume what is being taught here is that we all are in this together in terms of we are a team. We can help each other out on some way, shape, or form. And to correlate to that, to what he was saying earlier, um, that when you're speaking to somebody regarding, uh, or I guess in your friendship, when you're in, where what he was saying, he doesn't want to communicate to somebody that sees the old woman. He wants to communicate to somebody that sees the differences in him, in what they're seeing. They have a different opinion. And this is where the psychological error comes in handy, where you let the person that has a difference, have a different opinion of you, to let them talk, to let them, no, to for you to understand them. And I think that's very important because now you get a whole new knowledge, but also a whole new perspective of what that person is seeing, but also understanding what that person is, obviously observing. Um, and that goes in the real world and in business. Let's say you're somebody that wants to make it in life, wants to be very successful. Now, I know that successful is very subjective to a lot of different people, but let's say that you want to be successful. The best way for you to be successful, knowing that your friends around you and knowing that your peers around you are not successful, is to hang out with people that are successful. And I think that's somewhat of a correlation is you're not successful right now, but there is someone out there that is successful. You guys have differences. Now, someone that is successful, how do I get to understand how they got to the position that they're in now? And let me learn from them. And I think that's very applicable. Surround yourself with people that have differences but are valuable and somewhat align with the principles and values that you have in your life. And you may have heard this online. I'm very sure that you've, heard a lot on the lines of, if you want to talk to somebody that's successful, or if you want to be successful, around yourself with successful people. If there's the saying, if you have four millionaires, if you have four friends that are millionaires, you'll be the fifth millionaire. So I think that goes to show. But anyways, we'll take a stop there, and yeah, hopefully this mic turned out well. Production value has gone up. Let's go.